With that, a quick numbers about the company. Company's been around for almost 14 years now. Have a team of almost 500 employees across 10 different countries. In the US, we are almost to 40 people, mainly in the office in West Lafayette, Indiana. But I'm actually talking to you from my home office in St. Louis, and we have a sales and customer support team throughout the Midwest right now. So when the company started in 2019 here in the US, the approach we took was to first learn and then develop. And what we found in the US as we were spending time with ag retailers was this kind of situation where you're probably familiar with if you've lived at a, during season, if you spend time at an ag retailer, you'd find, all kinds of means to try to connect and find out where people are at any given time of the day. And most of the planning and the communication, where to go, what to go next, and all that scheduling operation happens in paper or paper maps. Some organizations use other levels of digitization, but at the end of the day, still up to that dispatch manager or that location manager to build that schedule on their own with their knowledge of the region and the area. Not mentioning all the last minute calls you get during the day that we all know that happen. So with that, we proceeded to start measuring the efficiency of those operations and before, again, starting to develop. And what we found was something that was very common throughout the Midwest. And we're talking here operations that we're measuring this from Kansas all the way to Indiana, about 3 million acres of operations that we covered. And what we found was almost a third by third by third breakdown if you look at it overall 10-hour shift of these days while they're in season. And that green part of the chart, about 35% of that time, it's the only time you're actually making money that we are actually spraying a field. The red part is idle time. It's another 30% of that day. And the yellow is the travel time. So that all that time you spend on the road going from one field to the other and back to the location. And again, all this information is collected automatically, so very high quality data. But we wanted to understand a little bit more in depth. So what the system does is at the time the machines are idle, there is a message that pops up and asks the operator why you're idle. That's one of the fewer times that the system will require operator input. And we found that it's about 50% of those hours, so almost a little bit over an hour and a half of that day is spent in the field, just the sprayer waiting for a truck to arrive. That, if you do a quick back of the envelope math, number of hours times $7 per acre times number of acres you do per hour, you're talking an opportunity there somewhere around the $50,000 per machine per season. And the same concept if you look at travel time, where we believe we can save about 30 minutes a day, just better routing these machines throughout the day. There's another $14,000 opportunity. And last but not least, if you look at the overall average speed of those machines, we thought it was somewhat slow. And we're not advocating for people to fly down the field, but we were able to correlate the overall speed to the best correlation wasn't field shape or field geography, where most people believe that's the issue. It was actually operator experience. So the most experienced operators had a much higher average speed than the less experienced. So we believe that with technology and also with our customer support approach, we can tackle options on how to improve each one of the sections of this chart. So with that, what I'm going to do is switch screens, and I'm going to show you a demo of our system. And just give me 1 second here while I get it all set up for you. And I'll share my screen again. And this is about a 10-minute demo. We'll show the capability of the system, and then after that, we'll open for questions.
Solinftec. You can use this system to help your retail locations operate more efficiently. The first way that we can help you add efficiency is through creating more efficient schedules. So as a location manager, I can come into this system the night before to create a schedule for tomorrow. I can see all my work orders laid out on the map. These are color-coded by blend or tank mix if I'm doing liquid. The next thing I do is I choose a set of machines. In this case, I'm going to choose my spreaders. And then I move on to select the work orders that I want to schedule. The simplest approach is just to choose all of the work orders and then choose Optimize with Alice. The algorithm will run for 3 or 4 minutes, and what it's doing under the hood is it's trying all the different possible combinations of who goes where in what order, and it'll come back with the most efficient schedule of all the ones that it looks at. It's looking at tank mix compatibility. It takes into account cleaning times, the forecast that each individual field is going to experience, and the label requirements for each of the products being applied. When the optimization finishes, I'll be presented with a draft schedule for the day. So I can see here which work orders were selected in the order that they should be done. They're numbered according to the most efficient order. I can click on any individual work order and see the details of who's the grower farm, what's the field, what's the ticket number, what's the tank mix, and application rates, etc. In the left-hand side here, I can see a list view of the same information. I can see the drive times between fields, and then I can also see a notification of whether or not I'm likely to be on or off label according to the forecast of the field and the products that I'm going to be applying. Solinftec's general approach to automation is that we want to take the best of what computers are good at and what our local experts know that we'll never really be able to model with computers. And so, as I mentioned before, we'll give you a good starting schedule, but then we allow the location manager to easily visualize what's going on and make judgment calls if this is the schedule that they want to run or if they want to make changes to it. So for example, if one of your best growers calls in and they forgot to tell you that they planted and they're asking you to, show up the next morning, servicing them today might not be the most efficient thing from an acres perspective, but it could be the exact right thing that you need to be able to do as a business. So how this works is I can click on a work order, I can remove it from a schedule if I need to, I can reorder the work orders in the list, I can move a work order between machines, I can add a work order at the end if I need to. All of this we wanted to design in a way that we make it easy for the location manager to digest what the algorithm's giving them and then make any changes that they need to according to their local expertise of the situation. Once I'm happy with the schedule that I created, then I send it out to my applicators. Now as an applicator, I receive the list of work orders that I'm supposed to apply in an iPhone or iPad app. So I can scroll through the list at the beginning of the day. I tap on the first one. I can get details about the current weather conditions on the field, the ticket number, current grower farm and field, as well as products and application rates. I can review any notes from my ERP that are sent along with the work order, and when I'm ready, I hit the start button. I'm given driving directions to the field, and I have a few options to choose from in case I want to avoid a bridge or something of that nature. So I'll go ahead and start. It'll pull up the route and give me turn-by-turn driving directions. The app will speak the directions as I go to the field so that I'm able to keep my eyes on the road. When I arrive at the field, the app automatically switches to application mode. I can see in real time what my speed is as well as current weather conditions. There's a countdown timer that tells me how long it's going to be before rain starts, if there's rain that's on its way. I can switch to the radar tab and see current both satellite and precipitation, both current and into the future. I can also switch to the tender tab and set a meeting location for my tender truck to meet me at. So I'm going to set it to here. And now as the tender truck arrives, they'll be given driving directions to the location that I set. When I'm finished applying, I can review a summary of the work order. I can add notes if there's something I need to send back to the folks at the office. I can add a digital signature. This is something that you only have to do once as the applicator, and then your signature is saved on file. Of course, you could redo it if you need to. And then this, along with my applicator registration number, the weather conditions of the field, the start and end time, anything else that's required for documentation, gets sent back to the Solinftec web app and then to the ERP in the cases where that's supported. If I need to adjust any of this information, I can choose edit and review all the data that's going to be sent back along with this work order. If I need to override something, say for example, I measured the wind with a hand wind meter, then I can come in here and maybe the airport was reporting 13 miles an hour, but at my hand meter at boom height, the wind speed was only 8 miles an hour. I can adjust this before sending it back. Finally, I just hit save and send work order. It'll ask me if I want to go ahead and start the next work order in the list. Choose yes, and I'm again presented with driving directions to the next field. In general, we've designed the app to require a minimal amount of input from applicators. The one exception is if an applicator stops for more than a minute, we'll automatically show a pop-up asking the reason why they stopped. The value of this is you can start to collect good data on the reasons that you stopped. Some of them are going to be unavoidable, such as folding and unfolding the booms, changing tips, etc. But others, like waiting for product or maintenance, are things that can be within your control. And by collecting good data on the causes of stopping, we can help eliminate those over time. As applicators make their way through the work order list over the course of the day, we can track their progress in the monitoring tab in the web app. I'm able to zoom into an individual rig and see it as it moves through the field. I'm able to zoom out and see all my machines simultaneously. They're color-coded according to what they're doing. So dark green means that it's applying, lighter green means that it's in the field but not currently applying, and then red means that it's stopped. In addition to monitoring your fleet during the day, it's also easy to come back in after the fact and analyze how the day was spent. So I can click on this timeline view on the top and see on a per machine basis where each machine was in terms of grower, farm, and field over the course of the day. I can visualize what the total stop time was. I can mouse over each point on the timeline and see details. If I want to drill in for a closer look, I can also click on the machine and choose trail, and then I can choose a day to review. So in this case, we're going to choose the 4th and load up this day. So I can see here that 2 fields were applied. This is an ammonia application. I can zoom into the individual field and see the path that was taken through the field. I can see when the machine was traveling versus when it was applying, and then these red dots are any time when the machine was stopped. If I want to review this application in more detail, I can just hit the play button. You can replay exactly how the application took place. If you want to, you can speed it up a little bit. You can see the exact path that was taken through the field and the individual decisions that the applicator made as they were applying. In addition to using this data for coaching, we can also use the data to automatically detect and correct problems in real time. So for example, if an applicator starts to apply the wrong field, then we will alert them in the cab, we'll alert the location manager, and we'll be able to get ahead of the problem before it actually materializes. The same story if you start to apply a field off label. We can provide alerts and fix that situation right in the moment. Or if there's an excessive amount of overlap, or if there's excessive amount of skip, or if the applicator starts leaving the field and there's still a few acres left to apply. All of those are issues that we can detect and get ahead of in real time. Preventing mistakes and increasing efficiency are things that help you create a culture of excellence, which will lead to better service for your growers and ultimately to a more profitable operation.
Great. So is that, I'll kind of do a quick overview and then review of the video. I know there's a lot of information in a very short amount of time, but the goal here really is to take some of these tasks that currently can be solved with math, right? So using algorithms, things that take 3 hours sometimes to these dispatch managers to elaborate and take all this information in consideration, travel time, distance, weather, products, traits, all that, and to turn that into a few minutes type task, and then use that additional time for these folks to make more of a business type decisions, making sure that the customer service is first and foremost taken care of, and along the way, like Ben mentioned on the video, create that culture of excellence and provide better, experience for the clients, but also for the crew, for the team. Sometimes even being able to maybe go home early because you're done. So those are some of the values that we're finding now that customers are using our system in their operations. So with that, I'll open up for questions. I think we have about 10 minutes left on our call. If anybody would like to take a first stab. Let me see if I can see any chats here. I don't know if the chatting is available. Another thing I'd like to also share with you. So as you implement a solution like this, what we really pride ourselves to is on the customer service side. Technology does part of the service, but really being able to be out there, support the customer, explain the technology, that's really what makes it stick. So on our company history in the last 14 years, we never lost a customer. Actually, I'm lying a little bit there. There's one customer that we lost, but unfortunately that was a customer that went bankrupt. Other than that, all the customers that started with us are still with us, and most of it is the reason is because of that approach we have to customer service and to build solutions along the way. So sometimes we'll start with a solution like this and continue to push the envelope and ask for feedback, and as well sometimes is the customer that will come to us and say, hey, here's something that we've been struggling, and is that something Solinftec can help us with? So then we'll turn to our team. We have, out of the 500 people in the company, about 150 of them are designers, software engineers, as well as hardware designers. Sometimes we develop our own hardware when it's needed. And also there's a team, about 20 people, wholly dedicated to artificial intelligence. So those are some of our capabilities. Specific about the demo you just watched, the installation implementation is fairly simple. All it requires is obviously internet connection. The screen that you saw most of the time, it's a desktop cloud-based solution where you just log in. And then what the applicator has is just an app for the applicators. And the tender truck drivers, they have a different app, which actually was designed with the kind of folks that are performing that kind of job. The feedback we got was, hey, we need something very simple. They don't want to be messing with additional technologies. So that app is just 1 or 2 buttons away. You're on your way. Same thing as the applicator app, gets you driving directions to and from the fields, and gets those jobs scheduled. So if you're at the location, you can see when those trucks are coming. And as well as if you're the applicator, you can see when your next truck is coming as well. Fairly quiet bunch today. Usually get a bunch of questions.
Carlos, I believe that you have questions in the chat. Are you able to open that?
I try to find, let me see if I stop sharing my screen. Maybe that pops up to me. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Yes, there they are. There you go. I'll get from the top. ERP systems that we currently work with. Good question. We currently are integrated with AgVance. We're integrating with Agris. We're integrated with AgWorks, and we're integrating with AgWorld. And there are a couple others that are being requested for us to integrate. The great thing about that is work orders come seamlessly to our system. We execute and send them back to the ERP. The next question, was testing being done with data collected during the day for use with blockchain programs or systems? We do have a blockchain initiative going on in Brazil, so that is definitely doable. Actually, our sugarcane customers in Brazil, we built what's, even before blockchain became a fancy word, we called it at the time a sugarcane digital certificate, which tracks all the operations from soil preparation to harvest, because those operations, we track all the operation with them. So I hope that answers your question. Does your service also include crow yield data? Maybe it's crop yield data. We can record that. Today, the solution you just saw, that is an applicator, so sprayers or spreaders kind of data, but for harvest, we're working on some solutions for farmers. Collecting agronomic data for the applicators. No, that currently what we do is show that map like you saw in the video, where you can see and trace back where it was applied, all the weather conditions, the product that was applied, the work order, the applicator, the specific rate, for example. That is data that will come from the rate controller. And we don't currently have, we used to have a connection to that. We're developing a new one. So in the meantime, that's not connected directly. The next question was, you have any integrations with blenders that allow tender truck and applicator to know exactly what's located on the truck? Yeah, that's something we'll be working on soon as well. We have prioritized integration with the ERPs first, but that's definitely a next step. Currently, that information comes through work orders, so that those quantities on the truck tickets and things like that is it's what it's recorded part of the order, because we need that information in order to calculate what's on those trucks, as well to calculate how long it's going to take for the application to happen. And the question about connectivity, cellular base, and so how reliable? Great question. So yeah, we definitely rely on SIM cards on those iPads. The connectivity is, so far our experience has been, and again, I'm talking to you with coverage all the way from Kansas to Indiana, has been pretty good, pretty reliable. Even in areas where you might lose cell phone signal, kind of like when you're on your car and you're driving and you have your map on, you may lose cell phone reception, but the map keeps going. It works exactly the same way. And we're continue to store and record that data. We use the device memory for that. And then as soon as there's no connectivity, automatically the system picks that up and sends it back to us. So you might see a delay if you're looking at real time, the monitoring screen where you see, the machines running. You might see a delay on one machine or another because of that, but there's no risk of losing that data. All great questions. Do you have a reporting tool to provide operational improvement metrics? Yes. I didn't spend too much time on that, but it definitely, everything that's happening out there, we are recording that for that customer's account. You can definitely pull that data and break it down to see operator by operator efficiency, machine by machine efficiency, overall location efficiency, do comparisons, being able to see how many hours each machine spent out operating. That along with weather conditions. So all the weather conditions during spraying are also recorded. So you can tell what kind of wind you had at that point, if there was raining or not, all that from the weather channel, IBM. We have an API with them. And another API, there wasn't a question here, but we bring all the label information from CDMS. So we use that, the weather information, the route, the equipment, all that to run the algorithms to build those schedules as efficient as possible. Very good. I think I was able to cover all the questions. Those were really good questions. Very good. Oh, and I see Grant. I was wondering if that was you, Grant. Good to see you here in the call. I saw the name, but I was wondering if that was you. Good to see you. I hope everything's well there in Canada. That's our next stop. We already have a person up there in Canada, so I'll need to hook you up with them. So with that, I think we're getting close to the wrapping up the time here. Any other questions? Anybody would like to open the mic? Okay, so please, if you have any additional questions or you think of anything else later on, please reach out to me or look us up on our website. There's an email you can contact us or you can contact me directly. Appreciate your time today. Thank you.